Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's my opponent to go first. I do not have a good rack. I have 3 O's and 5 vowels. I'm going to really struggle to score and leave a decent rack leave, so I may consider changing. If I simply changed all 3 O's, I would have a rack leave of A, E, N, S, and that would be quite good. I'll see what floaters my opponent provides, but were he to change, I think I would do the same. Okay, he hasn't. So, do I change? Or do I play? I could play. I'm going to play. I've got a boon. And this is certainly going to score more than changing. And the rack leave of SEO is okay. So that's 14 points. Now, is there something better than a boon? Probably not, because if I play parallel to it, I'm playing with the tiles on my rack, and I can't see a way of playing off 3 vowels, and including 2 O's. A boon takes a B and a G in front. Now that's pretty good. I have tonemes, and booty takes an S. Does tonemes have an anagram? I think it might, but it's not coming to mind. Tonemes also plays in columns 7 and 9. Weight takes an E and an S at the end, but that doesn't really help me because I can't get the play doubled. Now, through an I, I've got semitone and monetize, which plays through the eye of booty but doesn't get doubled. So my starting off point is row I, tonemes and buddies. 69 points. What could score more than that? Well, what about a play through the T of weight? Can't see anything there. What about a play through the D of booty? Can't see anything there. Well, I feel I'm missing something, but I am going to play this. That's not great. U and V together. Not very bingo-y. But I do have scoring tiles in the K and the V. What's going to be hard is to leave a decent rack leave. I could play vodka in row D and double A. But that's then leaving EU as a rack leave, which is quite vulnerable. I could draw well and have a bingo, or I could have a rack full of vowels. Now, I do have an E for going on the end of weight, so do I have a 5-letter play ending with E? Not that I can see. My vodka spot in row D is still available. But that doesn't play off the U. Do I have a play which plays off the U and the V? Vagi takes nothing after it. Now vow is good, so I may have a play in row D above a boon. But I have to play off 2 out of K, U, and V. Vodka doesn't play in that spot. I could play VAU. 25 points. Leaving DEOK. That's not bad. What does Vodka score? 28 points. Keeping EU. Well, I think I prefer VAU. Onto a U, I would have Vordau. I could play Vade in row G, making that a go, and Din, keeping OUK, that's not so good. I think I do like the idea of getting rid of the U. The K is a nice tile. U and the V aren't at this stage of the game. 24 points. Yeah, I think that's okay. This looks quite good. Fairly close to a bingo. Not sure if I have one though. Deacon is good, a 6-letter play. That plays in row D. Now I don't have a 7, so where are the floaters? There's the M of tonemes. Nothing there, and there's the T of weight. Nothing there. Okay, so I'm looking to play off my K and leave a decent rack leave. So I could play Koi in row C, making Kana and Ow. That would leave ADEN, which is quite bingo-y. I am behind at the moment. I'm 5 points behind. So I am looking to bingo again. Now, can I take advantage of the A front hook of a vow? This looks like I should be able to. So I'd like to have A here and K here. Probably forces the O to be here. Well, I don't think I do have something there. Koi, only 24 points. That's not so great. Am I missing something a lot better? This rack leave isn't fabulous. I don't have an S or a blank, and I have the same number of vowels and consonants. "14 minutes of time left, so that's okay. Koi not really providing anything for my opponent. I can't see anywhere else really good for the K. Yeah, I think this will be okay. Well, not a bad rack except for the duplication of the H. So I will not be bingoing with this rack. But my H can go on the end of ET in row K, making ETH. So I could play HAH in that spot. For 30 points, that would be a good score. Great, and that stays available, and my opponent gets only 16 points. So this is what I was thinking about. DENR is not a fantastic rack leave. It would really benefit from another vowel. It would be nice to play off the N or the R with the tiles I'm currently playing off, but I can't see a way of doing that. So I think this will have to do. Wow, pretty awful. There are spots where I can play my Q above the I of Koi and the I of Find, and above the AT in column 2, but I'm only scoring about 11 or 12 points, and the rack lead is awful. So I'm inclined to change with this rack. All I can see is low scores for the next 2 moves. Can I score about 25 points, keeping the Q? No, I don't think so. Unfortunately, I think this is a change. I'm only 4 points ahead. It would be nice to keep scoring. But the idea of keeping 2 L's and an N is just awful. So, change. Get rid of the Q, the L's, and the N. Keep DER. Wow, no vowels at all. I do have a scoring tile in the Z. So I think I will be playing with this rack rather than changing. But it's not good. Well, nice bingo by my opponent, 74 points. He takes a good lead. What can I do? Just looking at the triple letter square at F2 to see if I can get my Z on that, and I don't think I can. What about a play beginning at A1 down onto the P? Can't see anything there. Well, what about anything through the E of Peloria? I don't have to play the Z off, it's a good scoring tile. So, I could play Creed down here. It stops my opponent scoring well from the triple word square at A1. Creed takes an S in front, so I'm keeping bingo lanes open, or creating bingo lanes, which is good since I'm behind. Scores 24 points, which is not fabulous. Well, that scores 24 points. An alternative would be bears across here. 45 points. I think I'm going to go with the extra points. Rack leaves pretty awful. But I think the extra points justifies it. Now, am I missing anywhere else where I could have played bears or res? So what does res score in this spot? 39. 45, 6-point difference. I think I'll keep the duplicate R, even though I note there are 3 R's unplayed. This is a really tricky rack to deal with. But I think bears is better than Creed. Well, this is quite an easy rack to deal with. It's another change, and I'll be changing 6 tiles, keeping just the R. I'm 25 points behind my opponent's on turn. I could well be 50 or 60 points behind, or worse if he bingos. There's still a blank out there. There are still 3 S's out there. And there are not many bingo lanes on this board. Just quickly looking around at the available vowels. No, I'm sure changing is best. So, get rid of everything apart from 1 R. Fabulous. I draw the second blank. Do I have a bingo? That duplicate R is slightly problematic. Now, with only 1 vowel, I can just imagine the blank as a vowel. Can't see anything with it being an A. Or an E. Or an I. Nothing there. What about the blank as a U? No, so I can't, and let me just consider it as a Y as well. So, what floaters are on the board which may help? I think it's the I of booties, which I need to consider. And it would be a bingo beginning with I, probably beginning IN. Inter and intro. I'm not seeing anything there. Okay, so how to sort this rack out? I could just play jaw down here, which is going to score 20 points. The rack leave is okay. It would be nice to play 1 more consonant. So an alternative to that would be to play Pratt down here, 15 points. I think that's slightly better. Yeah, I think that is the best I can do with this rack. Now, surely I am bingoing. So where's the best place to look? Well, I guess it's going to be row O, beginning with T. And I have tandoori there, and I think that's going to be best because it's placing the D on the double letter square. And I'm short on time, so I'm going to play this without looking for a better bingo. And this is going to bring me up close to my opponent, but still behind him. 16 points behind. I draw the Q again, but I now have an I to go with it. So I could play Chi in row B, making Chi and Chi. And that would leave EFILT, which would be quite a balanced rack leave. 30 points for my opponent. Good score for him. 1 N out there and 2 S's. So Chi in this spot is quite... well, it carries some risk. Have I overlooked a Q spot? 33 points there. If I played it in row F, above the I and N of find, 27 points. I'd be dropping 6 points. Tricky. 33 points would make me 334, 14 points behind. Opponent on turn. Quite a bingo-y set of tiles in the bag. The points are important. I may not need a bingo to win, so I don't really want to sacrifice 6 points. That's quite a lot. I'm going to go with this position. Don't think I have a bingo here, although there are a few floaters to consider, especially the T of weight. A body blow. 75 points for my opponent, 1 tile in the bag. I'm about 100 points behind. I think this game is lost. So, what do I do? I've got 4.5 minutes left. Is there any way I can win this game? Well, probably not. Even if I bingoed right now, I would not be scoring enough to win. But do I have a bingo? There's the S of welders, which is available, especially for an IEST ending word. Can't see anything there. So if I'm guaranteed to lose, and I think I am, I don't think there's anything I can do to give me winning prospects. So I'm really looking to play off a bunch of tiles and score well. I don't have any tiles I can hook onto the end of weight. So I am struggling to use the triple word squares in column 15. So what about a play in column 13, placing my F next to the second E of welders? Well, foil goes there, but that doesn't quite reach the double word square. I've got just over 2 minutes left. If I played Fido in row H, 36 points. Well, I was going to say the Rattley's not very good, but I'm not sure that is true. I don't like keeping double L, but I do have the E to go with it, and I'm drawing just 1 tile. And there are a few, well, 3 vowels out there. The rack leave is not good, but the score is, and I can't see anywhere else I can get close to 36 points. And if I don't go in this spot, my opponent easily could. Wow, pretty good picking up the S. Does that give me an out? Well, I can play tells in row N, making TI. Do I have a second out? Yes, I have tells in column 15, making ST. I think I would be wretchedly unlucky if both of those were blocked. I think that would require a play in column 13, coming down from the square to the left of the S of welders. I've got just under 2 minutes left. My opponent's got 13 minutes. £24 points for my opponent. And I think this is going to be the highest scoring out available. Towels, 20 points. Just wait for my opponent to formally end the game, which he does. And the final score, 406 to me, 447 to my opponent, a winning margin of 41 points. So well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. It was my opponent to go first, and this was the rack I had. I played a boon for 14, and that looks best. This is where I saw tonemes and didn't see anything else. Ah, tonemes did have an anagram, Teminos. And the highest scoring spot for tonemes was A14. Ah, okay, I could get it doubled and place my E on the end of weight. I didn't spot that. Instead, I played it at I2 for 69 points. So 13-point difference, but some of that will be made up by the fact that the column 14 play was more useful to my opponent. This is where I played Vor for 24, keeping DEKO. Higher scoring move was invoked at H4. Okay, quite nice. 6 more points, but a much poorer rack leave, 2 vowels including the U, so probably not very much between those two. This was my rack. It looked close to a bingo, but I couldn't see one. I could, however, have got 36 points for oinked. Where's that? Ah, well, again, using the E hook on weight. What did I do? I played koi for 24, keeping A, E, N, D, which is a much better rack leave than the solitary A after oinked, so I think those moves are probably quite close. This is where I played Ha at K3, and that looks best. My opponent plays Joe. And this is where I changed. And yeah, I think changing is best, because certainly 12 points for Cat. The rack leave of DELLNR is pretty dismal. I'm not going to be bingoing after it. It's the consonants which really wreck that rack leave. And then if I get 22 points for gel retaining the Q, well, the Q's worth minus 13 points. So, and 4 consonants and no vowels is no good. So I think changing was fine. Nice bingo for my opponent. And this is where I played Bez. And Bez and Rez look best. Horrible rack. I changed. And although changing doesn't appear in that list of candidate moves, I think it is better than any of the moves there. None of the moves score more than 20 points, and they all have horrendous rack leaves. Now, did I miss a bingo here? No, I didn't. What I did was play Pratt for 15, keeping blank NOR. Although top scores 20 more points, the rack leave of NRR blank is not as good as NOR. I think NOR blank is quite bingo-y, which justifies the points sacrifice. But I think it will be close. My opponent plays Sext, and that would have been obstructed if I had played top the 35-point play on my previous move. Anyway, I did end up with a bingo-y, or a bingo rack. So what were the bingos? Tandoori at 01. Yeah, that was the highest scoring one, although there were a number of alternatives. Now I drew the cue again. B13 Chi, that was my play. I still think that's best. Nice rack for my opponent at this stage of the game. Pretty much guaranteed him the win. Now, did I miss something here? Well, I didn't miss a bingo. Fido easily scores the best, so I think that's fine. And finally, Towels at K15 was my play and was the highest scoring outplay. So, a loss by about 40 points, but quite an interesting game. There are a number of horrendous racks there. Horrendous racks will crop up in Scrabble, and there were 2 racks there where I think I needed to change and did change, and even with the quick review at the end of the game, I think changing was best. And if you have 2 racks where you're scoring no points and changing tiles, you're going to struggle to win. So I think this was just a game where my racks were not particularly great, but these games will happen, and the important thing is to really move on to the next game and accept that bad racks and losses are part and parcel of playing Scrabble, but your aim is still to play as well as you can. I hope you can see from the thought process I described that I was at all stages looking to play the winningest move, and Welders right at the end of the game was really the death blow. If my opponent had not bingoed, then I think it would have been a very tight end game. Anyway, well done to him for winning, and I hope you enjoyed watching that video and got something out of it. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.